Welcome to Anime Real Talk, where we share our honest opinions on anime, Japan, news, and much more. It doesn't matter if you're new to anime, if you're a casual or a complete weeb. Join the conversation here. I'm Talha, and as usual, I'm joined by.
Ramin.
And Russ.
How you guys doing?
Not bad, not bad. How are you, man?
Yeah, I've been doing good. Second week of lockdown. How much Netflix have you binged?
You know what? I haven't been watching that much Netflix. I've been watching. I watched one show on Netflix, but I'll see what you guys say.
I've mainly just been focusing on my dissertation, but yesterday I started watching this Korean drama on Netflix that I found. Is this thing called Good Detectives. Yeah, I
Oh,
just
it's
started
new,
watching
right?
that. Yeah, it seemed like a fun drama to watch, and I like detective and police dramas. So
Yeah.
something I'm watching right now.
I've seen Stranger, the Korean drama. So good. Probably one of
Yeah, I
my
watched both
favorites.
of them.
Yeah,
I really need to get on this K-drama thing, man. It's so popular.
I think there's some K drama which are actually pretty good. A lot of them are, the romance based,
Yeah.
a bit sometimes cringy, but some of them have really good stories, crime and detective. Like prosecutors, police officers.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I like to watch. It just shows you like a whole new aspect of the world, like something we'll probably never kind of really see.
Actually,
Right,
Ramen,
yeah.
do you watch it with subtitles or without? Because you can speak.
It depends on the genre of the drama. If it's something like police or doctors where there's a lot of technical vocabulary involved,
Yeah.
I tend to just watch it with subs because I don't know technical vocabulary in
Okay,
Korean.
that makes
But if
sense.
it's something very simple, something like say there was the drama called Itaewon Class, which was pretty like simple. There was a lot of English
Yeah.
in it as well. There was a couple foreign cast members as well, so it was a lot easier to
Oh,
digest
the
the
cover
Korean.
looks really cool for that show.
Yeah, it's based on a webtoon, a Korean webtoon. So yeah.
Yes, kind of like Korean manhwa, but on the web. And
Oh.
just a quick note, a lot of people might be wondering why they've been hearing Nani in our previous podcasts.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, Nani was essentially just our way of filtering out any F-bombs and any kind of big swear words. And obviously, now we're not doing that anymore, so we might get demonetized or whatever, but we're going to be unfiltered. We're let loose now, boys.
Yeah.
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 The door's open.
Yeah. But in terms of Netflix, I've been watching this series. So it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasures. It's called Restaurants on the Edge. Have you heard of it?
Oh, bro, I hate this show.
No.
Do you really watch that show?
I've watched like 2 episodes. Like it's so cringe that it gets enjoyable. But I like the aspect of seeing a restaurant which is like absolute shambles, and then it gets turned into something which is like, half decent.
Bro, just watch like Hell's Kitchen. Why are you watching this show with the three American really cringy hosts? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They
Bro,
have a lot
it's
of
so
plastic surgery
bad.
as well in it.
Oh man, it's so bad. Okay, listen. If you're listening to the podcast, do not watch this show. Believe me, don't
this
watch
just
it. It's the
sounds
worst
like
thing I've seen.
it just sounds like one of those shitty reality TV shows
Bro, it's
that
terrible.
you should not
Ramen.
watch.
It was
Bro,
good for
Tyler,
like
bro,
when you have nothing else
if
to
you're
watch.
enjoying this, I'm having some thoughts on your taste in TV shows, bro.
It's
Oh
really
my god,
bad.
this guy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yo,
think
it was late
I
night.
can't watch. I
It was
can't
a late
watch
night,
shit
okay.
shows,
I had
man.
nothing else to watch. I'd already watched the anime, some other TV series. I was like, I've heard about these restaurants. There's so many cooking restaurants. How about this one?
Bro,
And
Watch a
okay.
movie.
I just thought it was a cool concept because it's set in like different countries. And I was like, oh, I might as well give it a go. And I watched
Which one
like
did
2
you watch?
episodes.
Which one did you watch?
I think it was like Malta and another one which was in Hong Kong.
Bro, the Hong Kong one, they were so demeaning when they were trying street food. That was what did it for me. I was watching it and I was like, this guy is such a jackass. Like, he's standing there and she's like, oh, this is a very famous Hong Kong street food. You must try it. And he looked at it and he went, what is it? and he like didn't want to eat it. And I was like, bro, you can't be like a chef on a cooking show and be like, I don't want to eat this street food. Like, just shut up and put the fish ball in your mouth.
You
But to
you
be
should.
honest, one of the things she showed him was like snake penis juice or something, or like
Bro,
snake
fuck it, you
penis
drink that shit.
porridge.
Like that's your job. Your job
Yeah,
is to
you're a chef.
taste food. You're a chef.
You're
You
a
go and you
reality
go and drink
TV
it.
chef. You're supposed to eat. You're going to a country with food that is not from. It's not Western. It's not something that you're
Yeah.
used to, and you're getting paid for it. You can't just be like, no, I'm not gonna eat this because it's exotic or it's not something from my palate. You're a chef. That's the whole
Yeah,
point.
that's the thing that pissed me off.
You could eat something weird and then get an idea and make something great out of that something weird. You know, that's what
So,
that's what a
so
chef is
would you
about.
guys eat snake penis soup?
If I
I'm
was
not a chef.
I'm not a
That's
chef, so
the thing.
don't need to eat
That's
it.
not my job, and it's not my job to. It's his
Sample and
job
cook
to
foods.
sample these things in a show
All right,
to
all
let
right.
people know. You know,
Um,
I don't
but
think I'm gonna
anyway,
watch it. That's for sure.
changing topics from snake penis porridge or whatever it is. Have you guys heard of the term Netflix jail?
No. What is
No,
it?
no.
All right, so Netflix jail is just a term which is used to describe shows that are essentially stuck in Netflix. So when Netflix kind of co-creates a show or buys the licensing and the distributing rights, it's seen to kind of kill off the hype of this kind of show. And a lot
Okay.
of it has happened to anime. So there was a few key anime like Beastars. There was like a musical one as well, and a few
Don't
others.
talk
I
about
know,
Beastars.
yeah, that one's a complete trash. But apparently that happens a lot with anime and Netflix in general.
That's surprising to me because I would have thought that Netflix owning the rights to something would have meant that it was more hyped because they have such a big audience base.
I think the thing with Netflix is they don't advertise their anime.
That's true.
That's the thing. That's why
That's
people
true.
don't find out about some of the good content. Say a good manga gets made into an anime, but Netflix either puts money into that production or just straight up buys the streaming license so that they can solely stream. You know, so
Yeah,
like
that's
in
true.
those cases, and Netflix really doesn't do a good job advertising their anime because they don't think that they'll make as much money as they would if they advertised their film productions, their dramas, and you know their main Hollywood style things, something that's not cartoon, you know, because
Yeah,
every
you
time you
know.
see a Netflix like suggest, it's never something that's animated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, whenever you open Netflix, if you're looking for anime, it just kind of pops up. I never see something's gonna be advertised or like something's coming out. I just see when
Right.
it's actually come out. Like with
Yeah.
what was it? I think it was Kakegurui. That came out, and I don't know if that was hyped or not, but that was just in my to watch list or like
Same,
recommended
same.
for you, and that's the only way I saw it, and I have no idea when it came out. But in general, that's a really good anime. I recommend watching it. It's a really weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have yet to watch.
I think what's interesting about it is the fact that people say it kills the hype because when the anime is released in Japan, essentially that's when it's most hyped, and
Yeah.
when that's when people watch it. And if they can watch it
Yeah.
like legally through Crunchyroll, Funimation, whatever
Mhm.
ways they're doing it, or even if they're illegally streaming it, they can watch it like episode by episode, keep up with the hype. I think the main complaint for Netflix jail comes from the fact that the series is made and it's shown on Japanese TV, but then 6 months later, then Netflix releases it. So a lot of people
Ah.
are kind of like sad that it kills the hype because they're hyped for it, but you know what? I can't even see it.
Yeah, you have
Hmm.
to wait 6 months just to enjoy it, and like other people have already seen it. You've seen spoilers on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Exactly. And one anime in particular is Great Pretender. So when I actually saw the trailer for this on Netflix, and it was under upcoming releases, and I hadn't heard of it because
Mhm.
it's an actual original kind of an original anime, and obviously they've worked with Studio Wit to produce it, etc. But I saw the trailer. I thought it looked cool, but then what I realized is there wasn't much hype around it. Like I checked Twitter, I checked a few other places, but not many people were actually like speaking about it. and I think it might be because of this, Netflix jail idea.
But the only counter that I probably would have on the argument for Great Pretender not getting too much hype is because the manga, because a lot of people read manga, right? So they would find out about a certain anime on
Mm,
through a manga. The manga and
yeah.
anime were released almost simultaneously during the same month this year. Like I think
Oh,
back to
really?
back, they were released back to back. The both the manga and the anime, because the anime itself is not a just it's made as an anime. It does have a manga to it, so they were released back to back. So I do
That's
think that might
interesting.
be a reason as to why it probably didn't get as much hype,
Do you
because
Yeah.
think
it was
the
released
manga came out
summer this year.
first?
Yeah, it was like June, and then the anime came out late June, beginning of July, or something like that this year.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so they were
Yeah.
released simultaneously, pretty much.
What's your opinions on Great Pretender? Because like for me, I knew it was going to be pretty entertaining once I heard Studio Wit was involved. I knew the animation was going to be on point.
Mm,
And like the way I like to sum up this anime is that it's a very stylish, entertaining conman story with like a ton
definitely
of
stylish.
twists thrown in, twists and turns, right? Which like no doubt will entice people into the story.
Mm,
And for me, it kind of revitalized the conman crime anime genre. And I just think it's very unexpected what happens in this anime. You never know what's going to happen. And it's very fun. Like the first scene is literally the main character. Hope I say his name correctly. Makoto.
yeah, you
Makoto,
got
right?
it. You got it.
Yeah, Makoto. He's literally hanging upside down on the Hollywood sign in LA, and we have no idea why he's there, but he's screaming like, "Please help me! Like, save me!" with his like, his Japanese like English. But it's like a very crazy start to an anime, you know?
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised because um, I didn't see the trailer for it, so it never even popped up on my Netflix. I had to go looking for it. And I'm surprised because, as you said, Studio Wit made it, so I would have thought people would have been going crazy because all of the other animes are bangers. So I'm surprised that no one was really posting about this. But as you said, when I watched the first episode, I was like, damn, this is such a unique story. And it's, as you said, so stylish. Like the way they've done the art is incredible. I like it so much.
Yeah, and I feel like it's very, very well written.
Mm,
It's chaotic, right? You get like drug kingpins, you get like racing airplanes, car
yeah,
chases, and a lot of it is like keeping me on the edge of my seat, and I really want to know like what happens next. It's unpredictable to say the least, right?
yeah.
And one thing I really also like is that it's in different locations, so it captures like different scenes, like in like LA and Singapore, in London, like perfectly, and we can kind of
Mm,
imagine the life like what exactly is life like there, and it uses like amazing colors, amazing scenery, key kind of sceneries. I feel like it's really good at setting the tone in anime, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
the art is a key one for me because the colors they use in the scenes, they use so many colors in each scene. It's almost like nothing I've ever seen before. I remember specifically there was this one scene where it was like the outside of a cafe, and there were so many colors in the shadows. The shadows were all like blue, green, red, and I thought it was just done really well. And I remember thinking it had such a unique look, and it wasn't like something I had seen before. But the look pairs so well with the music. Like, let's talk for a second about the music of the anime. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like probably the best I've ever heard. Like Ramen can probably speak a bit more about this, but the OST is very jazz based. Like it's a Japanese kind of style of jazz.
Yeah.
It's very loud, uh, and I feel like just like the story, the music is also unpredictable. But at times
Mm.
it can be very suave and very sophisticated. And I think the composer or the person who helped write this, his name is Yutaka Yamada. And he's also done like the music and soundtracks for Tokyo Ghoul,
Oh yeah. Go.
Vinland Saga, Gal, yeah.
This
And
guy in his car, bro. It's cool.
yeah, he's also done Vinland Saga. And even
Oh
Freddie
man.
Mercury, Sony got the rights for Great Pretender by Freddie Mercury. But like,
Where
I don't
was
think you
that?
guys knew, right?
Where was that?
It's at the end. It's the ending
It's the
of
ending. The ending is
yeah,
Freddie
every single
Mercury's Great
episode.
Pretender.
But I feel like Netflix done you dirty because
It
normally it
just
has the
skips.
auto. Yeah, the
Yeah,
auto like yeah.
bro, I didn't even know. I, I had no idea.
No,
It's
I
like one of
listen.
the best songs.
I always tend to listen. I don't skip the first episode's opening and ending just so that I can skip it afterwards.
I always skip the
Like
ending, to be honest.
I always listen to it, and then after first episode, I'm like, okay, just so that I save myself time. It's if I'm binging, I don't want to be spending half an hour. If I just skip the
Yeah.
beginning, opening, and ending, just to save myself some time.
Yeah, I
Mm.
agree. I agree with ramen. Normally I watch the first episode, I watch the beginning and the ending, and after that I skip. But I think out of the full 2020 anime and a lot of the anime as well, like that's come out this year, Jujutsu Kaisen ending is probably the
Yeah, I was
dopest.
gonna say
It's
that's the
so
only
good.
ending I've
Bro,
listened to. Like
they
all other anime, I usually just skip the ending because it's usually some Japanese woman singing in a really soft voice, and
right,
it's just
yeah,
of like the characters in school, even though the anime probably has nothing to do with school.
yeah.
And that anime has the dopest ending I've ever seen. It's so sick.
Jujutsu Kaisen actually has a really good opening and ending. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
did a good job.
anybody that says otherwise, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, yeah.
To be
Yeah.
fair, the
Your
Great
opinion's
Pretenders
your opinion.
opening is good.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a jazzy. It's a jazzy opening. I mean,
Yeah.
it's jazz, but in terms of when you're thinking of anime, like if you're thinking anime openings, you wouldn't go straight to, oh, jazz. You'd
I
go
think it fits the
straight up
vibe
rock.
though.
Oh no, it definitely it works. I don't think a rock song would have worked with
Nah,
the con man, a lot of money, stealing money from rich
yeah,
people, because there is an association of wealth and jazz.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jazz or anything classical is always associated with a bit of wealth. Like the rich people
Mm,
or the high class are the ones that understand it, as they
yeah.
would say, they would understand it more. Not
Yeah.
that that makes any sense, but it's just always associated. So it makes
I
sense
get you, Ramen. I get you.
for this con man
Yeah.
story to have the jazz element, and that's a really good thing. They went with the perfect choice of music
Yeah.
for this anime for sure.
And I think also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the opening of The Great Pretender, right? It covers all the parts and tells the narrative of the actual story from start to finish. Did you guys
What?
notice that?
No.
No,
It
I only watched it once, so I never probably paid attention
yeah,
to it.
because like when you watch it the first couple of times, you don't really know what the opening is doing because it's very crazy, right? But if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
watch it after you've seen the whole anime, it tells you the storyline from start to beginning. Like there's like flying cars, there's like Makoto running away at the beginning, and then there's like him meeting Laurent,
Oh,
going to LA. Then
that's
like
so
it
sick.
goes through different
Wait,
areas.
before you go through too much, I guess don't watch the opening too seriously if you don't want any spoilers.
Yeah, but to be honest, I feel like people won't be able to piece the things together.
That's
They've done
true.
it in
There's a
such a
lot of twists and
sophisticated
turns.
way, which I just love. And I didn't actually know that. It's probably one of the most unique things because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's just like a normal opening. It's very very jazzy, very unique, but it all fits
Yeah.
together.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just one of the that's one of the things I really like about this anime. You don't know what it's gonna give, but once they start doing the con right, and everything's in motion, like there's little parts of the story which are very segmented, but they all start coming together, and
Hmm.
then it gives you like a big kind of like payoff, which I'll talk about a bit more. But do we want to give a quick plot overview of Great Pretender, just in case people
I
don't know?
Just before you get into that, I just wanted to go back to the point of the coloring of the anime. For me, this was not a conventional anime art style
That's
or
true.
even coloring at all. It's unique. It was very Western comic book style. Like the first thing that I
Oh
thought
yeah,
of the colors and the way that the backgrounds were drawn and this comic booky effect was of the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because they used a lot of poppy
Mm,
colors, a lot of really vibrant tones.
yeah.
it's very
It
similar.
was more a comic book stylized in the anime, because no
Yeah, I get what you mean.
if you're comparing, like, say, the only comparison that I could think, only because of the opening and the music in the story, is what's that anime called again? The one that you really like?
Cowboy Bebop.
Yes, Cowboy Bebop. That's the one. And if you compare the two art styles, one is more an anime, and the other and
Yeah, I get what
this
you're
one is
saying.
more comic booky.
I
But it's
think
not
I
it's
think
not
the
that it's a bad thing.
characters are manga. The characters are
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
anime manga.
The
It's
the
more the
characters are
background.
definitely anime, yeah, for sure. Anime
Yeah,
manga, more Japanese style, but the artwork, the background,
100% agree.
definitely a lot more non-conventional anime, but more say comic book cartoony style.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I definitely felt like it was more of a Western style anime just because of the art style. But I guess, there's clearly demand for that, especially on Netflix. And I don't think it's a bad thing that the way they kind of chose to create these kind of backgrounds and the way they started to animate it. I think
yeah,
it's
no,
actually
no,
one
no.
of its
It
more
makes
unique
sense.
points.
It makes sense because it's not held a lot of it's not held in Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, back to the plot of Great Pretender. So
Go
without
for it.
any without any big spoilers, essentially the plot of the anime focuses around the main character Makoto,
Makoto.
Edamura, and his nickname is Edamame, just
Yeah.
because Laurent likes to take the piss out of him, and he essentially is considered the best conman of Japan, but he doesn't really do too many big heists or anything like big cons. He just focuses on like the old people and people who are easy to kind of dupe. But one day he meets like Laurent, a foreigner who's in Japan, and he essentially gets outsmarted and he loses his money to him. And the next thing you know is the police are at his door, and he's basically needs to flee the country because he's a con man. And he
Yeah.
ends up following Laurent, and they end up in LA. And this is where the first case begins. I think it's called Los Angeles Connection. It's all about Hollywood, and it's all about how corrupt Hollywood is. And we follow a filmmaker, and they essentially they want to fuck him over because he's a bad guy, and they want to take all his money.
Stop there, stop there, stop there, stop there. You gave a good overview and then you started going into the first like chapter of the anime, the first case. You don't want to reveal too much of the first case.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
beginning
fair
of it
enough.
was good. That's why I wanted to stop you there because you started going in. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially the plot.
He was
At
going
least the plot
ham
of
with
it.
the overview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like what I really like about the story, without any more spoilers now, is it's very unpredictable. Like I said before, and I think
Yeah.
the screenplay is very very good as well. The writer of the actual anime, his name's Ryota Kosawa, and he's actually famous in Japan already because he's written a lot of Japanese J drama series. A few popular ones which I've heard of as well is like Legal High, Confidence Man, and for his screenplay and his writing of these stories, he's actually received various prizes in Japan. So, like just by hearing this, you kind of know the screenplay and the narrative of this anime will be on point, right? Like every single episode, the stakes are always raised by the end. You kind of you watch an episode and you kind of think you know what's going to happen at the end of the episode, but then new narratives are like suddenly found, and then we are led to like these cliffhangers, and we're just instantly just drawn into every single case, which has
Yeah.
like multiple kind of pieces that fit off and come together.
I think basically after episode 3 you're hooked. I can't
Right.
see if you watch the first 3 episodes, I watched them and I didn't want to stop watching it and I just kept watching it until it was done.
Yeah, it's
I
very
literally
addicting.
sat there. Yeah, I sat for like 4 or 5 hours and just watched the whole thing. I just couldn't stop watching it because, as you said, they leave it on such a good cliffhanger every time that it just makes you want to see more. And I think
Right.
it just really drew me in. And the characters themselves are really, really interesting and they all have their own backstory and I think they did that very well.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really enjoyed watching when I was watching is seeing the criminals get fucked over because it's always a good payoff at the end of the episode
Yeah,
when
that's
we
true.
see them get fucked over because like these criminals they're seen to be very corrupt. They're like pieces of shit who kind of just take advantage of the people around them, take advantage of like women, like whatever it is. They're seen to be like the worst of the worst, like the worst humanity can essentially offer. Sometimes they even reflect like societal like problems as well. But when you see them kind of like lose everything they have and get fucked over, that's like probably the best feeling like I got when I was
Yeah.
watching this anime. And it's something I feel like you can probably rewatch in the future because you want to be like, oh yeah, you know what, that case was really good. I'm gonna watch it again or something like that. You know, it gives me a very crime documentary anime feel.
For me, I don't know. I don't know how many times I could go back and rewatch it. I could probably watch it again one more time just to, focus a little bit more on the details. But yeah, for me, it's a great anime for sure. I just don't think I would go back to it a lot to rewatch it. If it was like comprised into like a movie, say a heist movie, something like the Ocean
Oh, that'd be
series,
sick.
then I could probably watch it over and over again because I've watched the Ocean series like 3-4 times now already.
If you think about it, if you watched, so each case is around 4 episodes. If you watched all four just straight, that would kind of be like a movie.
Yeah, it probably would be like a big movie,
Yeah.
but it's just the
I
case.
get what you mean though, because
Yeah,
you know the twists
yeah.
already. So it's like I'm surprised that you even watch the ocean movies that many times because you know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
you don't have
I
that
watch it
wow
in
factor.
gaps, so it's a lot more fun. I don't know. There's something about the the live action version of a heist, um, say television series or a movie compared to a animated version of a heist genred television series or movie. You just feel a lot from that because the actors are real. The actors are human. You just
Mm.
feel the emotions a lot more. The it's more. It feels more real than the stuff on anime or cartoons.
To be
I don't know.
That's the
honest,
only reason.
I still felt the same stress. You know, like when you see the character they're trying to trick someone, or you see the disguise is flaky or whatever. That I still got that stress like I would from a regular heist movie.
yeah, and I think like for me, the characters in here were very good. Like I think their personalities were so different, and
Hmm.
when they worked together, it was just very interesting to watch, like and to see what happens. And because their personalities were so unique and, like in my opinion, very interesting, I wanted
Hmm.
to know why they were even like in this world to begin with, and
Yeah.
what motivated them, and for
Slip of the
for
tongue.
Makoto, right? He's very much the heart of the group, I think, because he
Mm.
always kind of sees everything from an emotional standpoint,
Yeah.
and he has to be invested in order to kind of like pull off the hype. And
Mm.
he's not generic because he also has his own motives. He won't really follow the plan play by play. If there's something good to be done, like he'll do it. And I feel like I can relate to him the most. And
Mm.
he's like our kind of view into this heist world where these
Yeah.
guys are taking millions from others. Like I've never heard of this before, but he's just as new. So I feel like I could relate to him like a lot more.
Yeah. He's a very approachable main character. You can feel yourself when you watch him. You know.
Yeah, he's completely different to Laurent, who's more of a fuckboy, cool,
Yeah.
uh,
Defo a fuckboy.
yeah, like mastermind. Like he's set everything up from like beforehand, before even episode one, and like even there was a bit of yoi factors there. I thought they were gonna ship them together, like Laurent
It's
and Makoto.
yeah.
A little bit
We
sus.
Yeah, but yeah, he's the kind of like the top dog, the gentleman, the cool guy. But did you guys have any like favorite characters? I know Russell did.
Yeah. I'll wait till after ramen. I'll wait.
well, I had I guess the most satisfying villain to see get crushed was James, the guy from the
The
third case
double
in
O Seven
Britain.
of the art world.
Yeah, but
Legend.
in terms of favorite character, I don't necessarily think I could connect with any of the characters in this,
Oh,
but
interesting.
I enjoyed Laurent's character. I think the most because I don't know. It's just he was very condescending but humble at the same time because he
Mm.
never claimed everything like this is mine. I did it. I'm the one.
Yeah,
I'm the
that's true.
mastermind. He just did it and let it happen. He just let it all happen. He was just like, yeah, I'm suave like that. I'm chic like that.
Cool guy.
But at the same time, he was also kind of a dick sometimes as well, a bit arrogant. But that comes with the amount of the smartness and like, you know, experience that he has.
Yeah, I describe him as the sunglasses emoji.
All right, yeah,
That's
yeah,
basically what he's like, personified.
I guess that's what I
Yeah.
liked about his character. He was very true to himself, not
Yeah,
too
I know
much
what you
out,
mean.
not too out there.
I mean, my favorite character was the girl. So her name is
Oh, the
Abby.
girl, yeah.
Yeah. No, her name's Abby.
Is that a new
So
waifu? Yeah.
I don't do waifus, but in this occasion, I might make an exception. Basically, she's one of the only characters I've ever seen in an anime that's actually Iraqi. Like I've never seen that before.
Oh,
So when
she
I
was.
heard
Oh,
that,
you're right. She was right.
yeah, so I saw that and I was like, bro, that's crazy. Like they made an Iraqi character. I was so excited when I was watching it. And I think they did such a good job with her backstory and with her motivations. I think they're quite interesting. And while it's not 100% true to what probably would happen in real life, I think that it was a good dramatization, and it gave her good motivation to become part of the heist. And I
Hmm.
think in general, her character is such a badass that that's really what drew me to her specifically as a favorite character.
Hmm.
And while Makoto is interesting and relatable, I think sometimes he can be a bit of a bitch,
Oh
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
so I find it hard to connect with those characters, and I think that her character was, to me, the like most interesting or coolest out of all of them. Plus, got them Iraqi vibes, bruh.
Fair enough. But yeah, in your opinion, like, what was the best case? I think for me, my best case was probably the first one. I think it was the most craziest, the LA connection.
Bruh.
How they're dealing with, these corrupt Hollywood stars and these cops and the different stuff that happens and like the ending of that case as well. I didn't
Mm.
expect that the ending of that case. I kind of did a bit, but then the way they
Bro, you
showed it.
didn't think that was gonna happen. Come
No,
on.
there's one part that I thought would happen, which I don't want to spoil. I think you might know what it is as well. Um, but yeah, like another part I did not guess at all, and that's what really kind of got me into the anime full time. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to finish this anime because that turn right there was amazing. How about you guys?
For me, it's the third case, the one that they did in London, the art one. That one, I think.
Yeah,
Even
that was a good
it had
case.
all of the developed characters developed a bit, except for Makoto, who just he was developing and then just fell down because he just
Oh yeah,
completely fucked up the whole
he
thing,
dropped.
Man did
and
a shitter.
still didn't manage to fix it. Still didn't manage
Yeah,
to fix it. So like his development just went out the window there after two cases.
agreed.
But it
Yeah,
was good seeing everyone else's like character development, and I was really curious to see
Cynthia.
Cynthia's story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was interesting because she kind of took a back seat for the majority of the first two
yeah,
cases, and that one's really giving you a view into her and her backstory. And I think, as Tyler said before, like the way they do the backstories is just so well done.
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely.
think for me, my favorite one was Case 2, which is set in Singapore. And for me, the main reason is because, number one, that's when you find out more about Abby's backstory. So
Yeah,
obviously, her being my favorite character, I
Yeah,
enjoyed
your
that the
waifu.
most.
Yeah.
And then
Don't
the
lie,
other
just a
reason,
waifu.
the other reason is because the villains in that like case are probably some Saudi princes. It doesn't say where they're from, but those mandem looking
right.
from Saudi, and they have enough money to start a airplane race. So obviously there got to be some wealthy Arabs, and one of the dudes is wearing like a thobe and like a gal and everything, and he
Yeah,
is
He was
so
such a dick.
dude. He was so fucking disrespectful. That was the thing that made me laugh so much. He was talking to people in the most condescending way, and it was killing me. It was such a funny episode just because of that villain.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think for me, I related a lot to that episode, that case in general, and what was going on, and just the villains in general, like the way they spoke to people.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that I like the first one, you like the second one, Ramen likes the third one the most. I think
Yeah.
to Ramen's point as well, what he said before, like, Makato, he falls through at the last
Mm.
the case, right? Yeah. I think that's one of the key points which I wanted from this anime a lot. I wanted Makato to get his own heist because it felt like he was training up to be it. He
Yeah.
had like a motivation. He was finally in this con world for good, and then he just fucks it all up.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to get his own heist at all. I don't think I expect him to get his own heist even in the next season, the last case, because
Oh,
it's
actually,
just
the next season's coming out soon, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
The next when is it? On
I
the
think it's
25th or something
November
like that?
25th. So I think it should be out like potentially a week after this episode releases. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's 9 episodes. It's essentially part 2 of Great Pretender, and it's titled Wizard of the Far East.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be Laurent's backstory,
Dude, that's gonna be
more on
a
him.
really sick
I think
case.
he's just scammed everyone in Asia.
But I don't. I just
I think
yeah.
that's what it is.
I just don't think that they're gonna give, and I don't expect there to be a solo case that Makoto will take care of because he's just too rookie. He was a small time scammer, a small time con man, if even a con man. He was just like a little baby scammer in
No,
Japan,
bro, he
just
was
doing
the
his
best
small
con
thing.
man of Japan. What are you on
Yeah,
about? Self-proclaimed.
Well, the scams
He had
that
talent.
the cons that he did weren't to the scale of what
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Laurent and everyone were doing. So in terms of like being the best, he was kind of like a small fry. He was the best of the small fry in my opinion at least. So I just don't expect him to get his own like his own like planning and everything like that because I just don't think he's ready yet,
That's
Yeah.
especially
interesting
in the
because
short time.
it's a 9 episode season, right? So, I mean, all the other cases are about 4 episodes. So I'd be surprised if it was just Laurent's backstory, because
Might
that
be
would be a
2.
massive backstory.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
it's gonna be.
I think it might be two different cases put together, but all like linked to
But all
Laurent.
Laurent.
And like I also want to talk about other Netflix anime. So before we head into that, right? Any last words on Great Pretender?
100% watch it.
Yeah,
Go watch
definitely
it.
watch it. It's
Yeah.
it's a good fun watch for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I would recommend it as well. It's on Netflix as well, so you might as well go and watch it.
Yeah.
Stellar. Yeah. But in terms of like Netflix anime in general, like their original programming, I've seen like a few, and I think my statement on Netflix anime in general would probably be it's either hit or miss, right? You have those good anime, but then you have
Yeah.
those absolute shitter anime, right?
Terrible.
So like for me, I watched quite a few, so I'll quickly list them out and say which ones I kind of liked and
Yeah.
which ones I didn't. So the first one is like Seven Seeds. So it's like a post-apocalyptic world where there's like massive insects. They're trapped on an island. They're trying to get off. So the thing here is I felt like the story was like had so much potential and like it was going in a good way, but I feel like it just fell through after a few episodes. I gave it that 3 episode rule.
Dude, I don't think it was that bad. I watched the first season. The second season's come out. I haven't yet gotten to watch it, which maybe says something.
Yep, exactly.
But I thought so the way they ended it was quite interesting, and what the seven seeds means in the title. I think, as you said, there was definitely potential, and I enjoyed watching it. And in general, I watch quite a lot of the Netflix animes because you can watch them on the tube when you're going to work, when we actually used to go to work. So that was a pretty good watch for going to work. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it was pretty casual. I'd say mediocre. The other one I know is pretty controversial as well. Is Arjun. So in my opinion,
Bro,
I really liked Arjun because of
don't
the
talk to me about
story,
this shit.
how it was unique. Like fair enough, the animation's a bit.
Bro, the anime has completely destroyed it. Just go read the manga. I don't know why you bothered watching it.
Read the
It's
manga. The
literally
manga's really good.
it's the most 3D piece of shit graphics I've ever seen. It looks
That's
terrible.
yeah. That's the only reason why I didn't because they show the trailer, or you can see the trailer on on Netflix for Ajin, and then as soon as I saw this shitty 3D graphics, like horrible, it wasn't even like
Yeah, that's
well-made
CGI.
3D
Bro, it's
graphics
like a
or
it's like an
CGI.
eraser
It was
speaking to
so
you.
shit. Looking, I was like, you know what? I'll just carry on reading it. I'm not even gonna bother watching it.
Oh,
That's like
damn.
the only anime that, if it's made with shit CGI and graphics, like if it looks really bad, then I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll give up my hopes for watching it in as an action animated thing. I'll just imagine it as I'm reading the manga.
Yeah, exactly.
Which other anime did you guys watch from Netflix?
Oh, well, Dorohedoro, bro,
Oh
that
yeah,
I
anime
need to watch that. I haven't watched
slaps.
it yet.
so good, so good.
Ramen, defo watch it. And I think that's an example on the other end of the spectrum from a Jin of 3D done right. And I
CGI.
think,
Ah, okay.
yeah, CGI done right. And I think before that, I had never really enjoyed any CGI in anime. I mean, like I was really not a fan of it, and I really prefer the old drawn art style.
Wait, have you
But
never have you watched Digimon before?
yeah, but it's not like a major part of the
Oh, as in,
animation,
oh,
right?
okay, I see.
It's like
I
thrown
see
in,
what you're
but this
saying.
one is mostly
Mostly, right,
CGI.
right.
Yeah, I think
But
they perfected it.
yeah, they did a really good job, and I didn't feel like it took away from the story, and almost actually liked the art style. I genuinely liked the way the characters looked and moved, and the way that it played in with the world. And I think that anime in general has a very unique story because so it's about a guy who has a crocodile head, and his name is Kaiman, and
Mm-hmm.
basically it's a world where Earth is called the Whole, and you don't really see much of it. You just kind of see where Kaiman lives. So there's potentially more to come in the world itself, but
Hmm.
it's called the Whole, and basically there's another world where magicians live, and they come to the Whole to practice their magic. So Kaiman wants to figure out why his head is turned into a crocodile head and how to turn it back. And
Sounds interesting.
the anime is done really well. Like it's very unique story, and the magicians are really not your typical magicians.
Yeah, and I think the way that they use magic is so unheard of. Like it's black
Yeah,
smoke that comes out of their like fingers and stuff. And like one thing when I was watching Dorohedoro, right, it gave me like a lot of like Hong Kong vibes for some reason. Like the whole, it gave me like Hong
yeah,
Kong vibes because it
it's
was
very
like
steampunk.
raining. Yeah, exactly. Very, very steampunky. And the general kind of story is like just so unique. The way that they use like magic, how they transport
Hmm.
around. Like one of the guys, his main magic is literally turning everything into fucking mushrooms.
Yeah,
Right? And it's just
Interesting.
like, what? And then there's like two other guys who wear masks. They're not both guys, but no spoiler here. But there's two people who wear masks. And they're basically like a cleanup squad, and they literally just
yeah,
go out and fucking like assassinate anybody. There's even like an episode with like fucking zombies in it. So
yeah. It's a really wild story.
yeah, like the story here, like every single episode is so unique and so different. So I definitely enjoyed watching that. The only thing is I feel like it finished too quickly. Like after like episode 12 or 13, it's one of those short anime. I felt
Yeah,
like it just started, you know?
yeah. I would have liked to have seen the first season be like 24 episodes, not 12. But I
Is
guess that
this
speaks to how good it was.
is it just a one season, or does this have
No,
a
there's
manga
more
to
to
it?
come.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, there's
Does
more to
it is
come.
this a like just anime, or does it have a manga as well?
Has a manga. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I might
Oh,
I might start
I
reading that.
honestly
Yeah.
don't know. I'm a much more of an anime guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I might give that a
Probably
read
give the manga a
first.
try.
Yeah.
It's got a unique art style as well. So I think you guys would probably enjoy it. But other than those ones, Ramen, have you seen any?
Netflix, what they call the Netflix originals, not many. I think all of the anime that they have on Netflix on my list to watch. Like, I think most of them actually, not all. Some of them I watched the trailers, like Ajin, and then you guys told me about Beastars, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just remove these from the list because
Beastars is so
Good
Beastars
good.
choice.
clearly is shit, and Ajin looks shit, so I removed them. But I have most of the animes on my like that you can view on Netflix on my
Yeah.
list. The only one that I've actually watched, apart from Great Pretender, that's classed as a Netflix original, as they say, is Violet Evergarden, because the
Oh,
story is so beautiful
Yeah, it's really
in
good.
that anime. It's I watched it when I was in New York on holiday with my family to visit family last year. Yeah, last summer, and I like me and my cousins and my sister. We just stayed at home while the parents all left, and we just binged Violet Evergarden the whole day.
That says a lot because you're
Yeah,
in New York on holiday and you decide to stay in and watch this anime.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh
really?
man, there was like two of them are babies, but three of us were over the age of 17. So we
Yeah,
understood and like we got really emotional watching it. So it's just so
the story is really,
beautiful.
really
Would
good.
you recommend it to me?
No,
No,
Why?
just immediately no.
100%.
You'd get bored of the anime from
How
because
many explosions?
Bro,
How many
yeah,
guns?
exactly. That's exactly
How
it.
many deaths?
in terms of
You'd
action,
I'm joking.
you won't see as much action per se. It will be like a flashback action kind of thing. It won't be like a
yeah,
head on. This person's fighting that person.
you would just.
From yeah, gone.
I was just gonna say, tell her you would just watch it and just say, "Oh, Ramen Ross is the slowest anime I've ever seen. They're
Yeah,
so
yeah,
slow, slow, slow." That's all you say.
yeah.
All right, let's see because to be honest, I did have it on my list, and like I did hear about it and how good it is, and I'm willing to give it a shot because it's Kyoto Animation, and Kyoto Animation always
Yeah,
produce such beautiful anime. So
dude,
even
it's
if I
so
don't
well.
like the story for some reason, I feel like I can probably still appreciate it as a piece of art.
It's so
Oh,
well animated.
it's so well animated. And you know the funny thing is about this being a Netflix original, the second like bonus part of Violet Evergarden plus the movie are not classed as Netflix originals.
Oh, you're right.
They're its own thing. They're just on Netflix. So it just makes me think some of these Netflix originals definitely aren't Netflix originals. You'd have to like do some research to find out whether they are like made for Netflix like only purposes only, or whether they were released before and then Netflix just got the sole
The
streaming rights. You
license.
know,
Mm.
like
Yeah,
Whiskers Away was made for Netflix.
Oh, I really want to watch that, man. It looks so
Yeah,
cute.
I really want to watch that. It was
yeah, it
like
does.
I researched it and it was made for Netflix only. Like it didn't
Oh wow,
release
okay.
anywhere else. It got animated and released on Netflix
Yeah, I
as
guess
soon as.
they probably like co-produced it and stuff. Like
Yeah, I guess.
I watched Over the Moon recently, like last week, and that was like it's not a Japanese animation; it's actually a Chinese animation, but it's on Netflix,
Over the moon.
and it's pretty good. But obviously, it's not anime related. But I think it was made to be released directly on Netflix. But also some other anime, like just shout if you guys have seen this or like have any urgent kind of feelings towards these anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hero Mask, Japan Sinks, absolute shit.
Oh, you
No,
told us about that.
Yeah,
I might still watch
I'll
Japan
go back into
Sinks.
that. Knights of Sidonia.
That's
Oh yeah,
apparently the
you watched
first
that, didn't you?
anime
Really?
on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Classed
I
as a
did not
Netflix
know that.
original because it released in when did it release?
2016.
20, 2015.
Oh, okay. Even before. Wow.
Oh no,
Damn.
2014. That's
Oh, it's an
when
old
that's
Oh,
one.
wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
got
an
released
OG. Yeah.
2014. It's well at least that's what Netflix says. It's the first
Yeah.
Netflix original anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to go back on Japan Sinks, fucking horrendous, dude. Like it's
I had to go
very
back to shit
very
on it more.
similar. Yeah, very similar to Devilman Crybaby. It's just a fucking depressing watch. Like why would I watch this shit on
Yeah,
my
I did
free
not
time?
like
Like
Devilman
people
Crybaby.
dying, the world getting fucking destroyed.
Ah, I
Like
see.
the plot lines just getting destroyed halfway through, things not making sense.
This is why
It's fucking retarded.
this is why we don't recommend you to watch Violet Evergarden.
Yeah.
Since you don't like this depressing and sad stories, I think I'm
Oh,
probably
bro,
gonna
it's so
enjoy Japan
sad.
things. It's just I I en- I don't mind emotional stories, and if it's like something, it's earthquakes, right? And stuff like that in Japan things. Yeah, I think I'll have to give it a watch. That's why I don't
Watch
want
it
to
and
recommend
see.
it to you. That's why I didn't want to recommend Violet Evergarden to you. You would not like it. You just would not like the story. If you're saying
Yeah.
this about Japan 6, you would not like the story. You might appreciate the art style though, for sure, because animated beautifully. But the
Yeah.
story, I don't think you would appreciate it. No.
Yeah, and I think like Netflix is also picking up some new anime coming out in 2021.
Yeah, there's one I'm
Um,
waiting for.
yeah, I think I know which one, but some other ones is Pacific Rim. They're making an anime of that. Hopefully,
Bro,
it's
that's
got
gonna
some
be.
good
Interesting.
CGI in it.
I don't have high hopes. I'm not gonna lie. And did they make like 4 movies for that already, or 3
No,
movies? I didn't
two,
even. I
two.
I
never
think it's
watched them.
2.
I watched
Yeah,
both of
2,
them.
it was pretty
bro.
fun.
I didn't watch them.
It's like massive fucking alien dinosaurs, and like mecha bots, fighting together
It
or like
just
It's a
fighting
looked
fun
like
against
watch.
each other.
NBC action, like ridiculous, just explosions, huge monsters. I don't know. It kind of looked like the Godzilla films to me, and I didn't watch any of them either.
Which
Oh, fair enough.
Godzilla films? The animated ones on
Let them
Netflix
fight.
or the real, like
No,
the
the
Yeah, I've seen
real
that
Hollywood
meme
ones.
version?
There's
though.
like 10 real ones, bro.
Which ones did you watch? Because I loved the was it 2000 Godzilla movie, which has nothing to do with the Godzilla MonsterVerse. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
that's what
guys
I'm
know
talking about. The
the
ones that they've started making with the
oh
Stranger Things girl and
the
all that.
MonsterVerse.
Yeah, that one looks terrible.
Oh, the
I watch it
animation.
for the sake of the action of the monsters. That's the only reason I watch it. I don't watch it because it's a great depth story and stuff like that. It's just fun to see the
Hmm.
monsters, the MonsterVerse.
But
It's a
but
new
Well,
there's
verse, right?
no monsters in Violet Evergarden. I'm joking.
I heard that and I got a little bit confused. I was like, why are you connecting
you
those
look
two
kind of
together?
triggered.
Like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Oh, but going back to what you said, Tyler, the Godzilla animation looks terrible. It's a Jin 2.0.
Yeah, probably.
There's like
It,
five of
But
those.
the new one that they're making looks a bit more like traditional animation style. It
does it?
even has like a main guy which looks like Jintoki from Gintama. And Ross, I think you're looking forward to the way of the house husband, right?
Yeah, bro, that looks so funny.
Yeah. Have you read the
That actually
manga?
looks.
The
No,
manga is
no,
so
I
funny.
didn't. But when I read the synopsis of that anime and I saw that it was coming to Netflix, I was thinking like this is kind of giving me Psyche K vibes. Like it's probably gonna be super funny.
Yeah, I can't wait as well.
Yo, the funny thing about Psyche K, right? So Psyche K, the disastrous life of Psyche K,
Yeah,
the anime on Netflix is just it's just the
Incredible.
anime, right?
yeah.
But Netflix, because I don't think they could get the rights, streaming rights for the original, so they just made a remake of it and called it a Netflix anime, the
Dude,
reawakening
it's
of
really
Psyche
good
K.
though.
Huh?
It's really
That's
good.
crazy.
Well, even the second one.
Yeah. Oh well,
Oh,
the second one's like the second season's debatable. It's definitely not as good as the first
oh no,
one,
I'm
but I
not talking
still
about the
watched it.
second season. I'm talking about season 4.
Oh really?
There's 3 seasons for the disastrous life of Psyche K, which is not the Netflix original classed as
Mm-hmm.
Netflix original. But then there's another one called Disastrous Life of Psyche K Reawakened, which does have
Oh
the
yeah, I watched
Netflix
that. I watched
original
that.
tag on it. That's supposedly supposed to be the season 4 of it, but it's just kind of like a remake because I guess Netflix couldn't
Yeah.
get the rights to call the original one a Netflix original. So they just made
No,
their own one.
I watched Reawakened. It wasn't terrible.
Oh, I don't know. I watched like one episode at yours. We watched
Yeah,
one episode
so
at
yeah,
yours. So it's
that
fun.
was a Disastrous Life. That was like
Yeah,
the
that was the
first.
the normal
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
the original one's so much better, but the Netflix like new one isn't that bad.
Yeah, I
It's
haven't
definitely
watched
not
it.
as good, but it's not terrible. But that's
Yeah.
definitely a recommendation. Defo watch that. Super funny.
Yeah. And I think just to wrap up like the conversation around this whole Netflix jail, I think my like last opinions and thoughts on Netflix jail is, yeah, okay, like Netflix sometimes co-produces and kind of like owns these animes, and like you can only see them on Netflix. But I feel like it doesn't make much of a difference. Like it's 2020. If you don't have Netflix, like I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like it's so easy to access. You can even like get it from like your parents or
It's
like
not free.
your family members, like someone who has it. I know people who fucking share it like between their friends,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
We live well. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna say anything about everyone having Netflix, but on Netflix jail though, I'm not the biggest fan of Netflix of the way that they're going about this Netflix jail thing. Because if they advertise the animes, right? You know how everyone knows Crunchyroll, you watch anime on Crunchyroll. That's where you go watch it if you don't watch it illegally, but you pay for streaming service or say Hulu or Funimations. You watch anime on there because they advertise it. If Netflix did advertise their animes properly to the people who love anime, because as you know, everyone can access Netflix now all around the world. Not that
Yeah.
everyone has it, but everyone has access to it and they can gain access to it. If you really wanted the anime that you call Netflix originals to do well, then you would advertise it. And the reason why animes like Kakegurui or Great Pretender and a lot of the other Netflix animes get put into Netflix jail is because they just don't get advertised as well. They don't get put out into the world as much. They probably get advertised in places like Japan, in the Japanese Netflix, but rest of the world doesn't get as much of the exposure to those animes. So it doesn't blow up as well. And some of these deserve to blow up, I
Yeah, I
think.
agree. I think it's definitely true what you said. If they had advertised the stuff more, it would get a lot more traction. And I think it's always a good thing to have more people taking anime and making it their own. So like, I know that you guys aren't a huge fan of Netflix original, or Ramen, you specifically are not a big fan of Netflix originals, but I think them taking the sole rights to kind of making that anime and distributing it is going to mean that other providers are going to do the same thing, and I think it eventually going to increase the quality of overall anime. Like Dorohedoro was a step forward for me for CGI animation, and I think that's a Netflix original. I don't know 100% whether it's completely Netflix original, but that type of thing and seeing that done by other providers like Crunchyroll or Funimation is going to just be a good thing for everyone.
Oh yeah, that actually reminds me. I think Crunchyroll got bought out right recently, like I think last month or a couple of weeks ago. I think Sony
Yeah, Sony.
bought them for like
Yeah.
just under 1 billion.
Yeah, I know it's crazy money, right? That's
Yeah,
crazy money to be spending on anime when something that was not that worth that much a couple of years ago.
yeah. So it's like like to your point, it's competition versus competition because
Yeah.
it already owns Funimation, but now if it has Crunchyroll, they can like. And Sony is already a
Join
Japanese
together.
country, not country, a company.
Yeah, Sony's a
It might
Japanese
as well
country,
be.
yes.
It might as well be.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's just gonna make animation better. Like, there's obviously downsides and upsides to this
I mean,
whole
the
Netflix
downside's money,
jail.
right?
Yeah, but I think yeah, you're gonna get some good ones, good animes from Netflix. You're gonna get some shit ones, some good ones. Great Pretender. And speaking of Great Pretender and the scams, I have a very linked news story.
Oh, smooth transition there, my friend.
Go on.
Yeah, so this news story it's about a scam in Japan, but the scam artist just did a complete shitter and and it's fucked up so bad. So it might not be the Great Pretender levels, but it's pretty interesting to see how this guy, just fucked up and got caught. So it's essentially police are warning people in Japan that there's a Shinkansen travel related scam. So Shinkansen is basically the bullet train in Japan that connects like a lot of places together.
Yeah, they are
Okay.
so
Right.
quick and they are so
Yeah.
nice inside.
So good. A bit expensive, but pretty good. And so basically in September sometime, there was like a young woman. She just finished up her shift at a part-time job in Fukuoka. And this is like the largest city in Japan's southwestern island of Kyushu. And when she was walking home, a guy basically approached her and asked her that for help. And he said to her, I came from Kumamoto on the Shinkansen, but I forgot to take my bag and suitcase when I got off the train. So just for reference, Kumamoto is around, I think it's 71 miles or 15 kilometers south of Fukuoka. So it's not close. It's pretty
Yeah,
far
quite
away.
far,
When
yeah.
you're talking about is it Fukuoka or Fukuoka? Because I'm just confused
Fukuoka.
with an
Or
I.
No, it's
Fucky.
Fukuoka.
Oh, okay. So
Fukuoka.
so it's Fukuoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was really confused because I know of the place Fukuoka, but I thought you were just talking about a different area. But carry on.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Spelling error over. Anyway, so he basically said that someone stole his train, not his train, his bag, and also someone stole his money from his wallet, and he wanted to borrow around 51,000 yen, which kind of translates into about $485 or 450 pound.
Borrow
Um,
from a stranger, you mean?
yeah. But I guess
Jesus
in Japan
Christ.
they're a bit more trusting. So he kind of like convinced her about this money exchange, and he said he's going to use the money to eat something, as well as get a hotel for the night, and he needs a ticket home for the next day.
That's crazy
And
because we
Wait.
barely would give someone £4.
Wait,
That's like 400 pounds,
this
isn't
this
it?
guy wants £400 for a meal, a room, and a ticket.
yeah,
he
Five-star
couldn't-
dining, my friend.
What kind of fine dining is he doing, and what kind of 5-star luxury hotel is he planning to
Yeah.
stay? That he needs £400, and I'm still confused as to how he convinced a woman for food, a room, and a ticket. She's willing to give out £400 as if that's how much those three things actually cost.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think she's just more of a trusting nature. You don't really expect a scam in Japan. They're much more honest. I used to leave my like laptop, my phone around when I was in Japan as well as when I was in Korea.
Yeah, no one
Nobody would
touches
steal
it.
it. It's
I
like
do
just
that
part of their
never.
societal values.
I never do that, even in Korea, because I know I've been Korea 3 times, and I know that I can leave my things out in the open in a cafe, and I know people won't take it. It's just not. I just no.
Yeah.
No way.
That's the London in you.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
It's the London in you. It's the UK in you.
It can
Ramen's
never
going to
work.
be going around thieving phones, bro.
Trust. Just go Korea and just
Don't leave
take
your phone on the
everyone's
coffee
phone.
table. Learn this lesson.
Trust.
Yeah.
Don't catch. Don't catch. You don't want me catching you slipping, bro. Anyways.
Yeah. So this woman, she essentially took pity on him. She went to the ATM, withdrew the amount that he requested. She gave it to him, and he wrote down his name and phone number on a piece of paper, and he kind of had it as, call this later. It's an IOU, so I'll pay you back once I get my stuff in
I
order.
wish you guys could see Ramen's face as Dala reads this story.
He's
so triggered.
it's literally what the fuck, like his face. But she called the number like a few days later for the repayment, obviously, and it was answered by a different person, obviously.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah.
Why did you
And
not check the
So
phone
she didn't
number?
confirm.
No,
the phone number?
she didn't. I guess she trusted it too much,
I mean, come on,
Oh
man.
my
Like,
god! I mean, you're giving.
Yeah,
brain,
it's
poor
no
girl.
brain
Did you hear
cells.
that?
No brain cells. She has so much money, but no brain cells.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
So she realized, like we all realized a while ago, that she's been
Yeah.
scammed.
I realized as
And,
soon as you said 400.
Yeah, she contacted the police, and it turns out like she wasn't the only victim in the Fukuoka area to have this kind of scam played on her. So
Yeah.
apparently the police nearby, they've said that since July, they've received dozens of reports of people who have had similar encounters where strangers essentially approach them. They pose as like stranded travelers, and they need some kind of money to help them get back on track. And I think the nail in the coffin here was another incident that happened. It involved like an 18-year-old student. So clearly these scammers were targeting younger people.
young people, yeah.
And it was near Hakata bus terminal, which is kind of like near, I'm not really sure where it is, but I think it's you can take the bus between Hakata and Fukuoka, right? It's basically in the Oita prefecture. It's like 2 hours east of Fukuoka by bus.
Okay.
And a guy basically came to this student and basically said, I need money to get back. I need it for the bus ticket. And he asked like 5,000 yen. And first
How
time
much
the
is that?
student gave it to him. But then when this happened again, what happened is the same man approached the student with the same story in the same area with the same amount, and he just did it in September, and basically he got found out.
The bad pretender.
Yeah.
Zero brains.
My man.
Zero
Totally
brains.
fucked up.
No IQ.
To be fair, though, that's not that much. Like, ramen, 5,000 yen's about 40 quid. Give
that's
or take.
that's
it's
still
not,
a lot,
that
man.
bad.
The fuck? 40
Yeah,
quid.
I mean, I wouldn't give someone
Bruh.
40 quid, but still, it's not like the other one that was 400 pounds.
40 quid. Jesus. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever given anyone outside. Well, first of all, most people in London have a have huge pride in the amount of money that they have. So a lot of people never ask people randomly on the street for money
Yeah,
unless
that's true.
they're homeless. And for homeless people, the most I think I've given a homeless person is £5, or just bought them a meal from like a like Sainsbury's or Co-op or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I've gone in and bought whatever they wanted, and that would be a
Yeah, that
budget
makes
of like
sense.
£5-6. That's the most I've ever done. Because
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's
even
a
homeless people in London would not dare to ask you for
yeah
more
for
than £10.
40 quid. Yeah.
They know that it's just a rule, you know. It's just one of those
Unspoken
things.
truth.
Yeah, it's they have that kind of humility because I mean they're in an unfortunate situation, but damn, £40 even?
Yeah.
Nah.
And on a side note, yeah, once things do open up again and we can travel to Japan, and when you guys do travel to Japan, just be wary. Potentially on a shinkansen, someone's going to come up to you.
I'm gonna call
They
the
are
police.
targeting, younger people, primarily in their
But bruh,
20s or teens.
like they're gonna have to try and
Yeah.
ask for 400 pounds in English, and it's just gonna be awkward for everyone.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be so,
weird,
so
man.
awkward. But yeah, that's the end of the news story. Don't be a fucking
was-
shit scam
Yeah,
artist
don't be a bad
like this guy.
pretender.
Yeah, man, zero IQ scam right there.
Yeah,
I mean, the
zero IQ.
person probably made quite a bit of money. I mean, if it's one person doing it or is it multiple, I don't know. But whoever made it, and what is it with these young kids? They are balling in Japan or what?
I
Well,
have no idea, man.
Jeez,
You don't know like how much they're making. Maybe that 400 could have been a lot for her, but she
Well, you
was
know
feeling
what?
sad.
Japan, everyone uses cash, so maybe they just have to carry a lot of cash, and that's
Oh
like what
yeah,
she had
that's
on
true.
her. Because they barely use card anywhere. When I went there, everything was in cash. I was carrying around so much money.
bro, I get worried if I carry around £100. How the hell people carry around £400 worth of cash,
Yeah,
bro?
I think it's
That's
just common.
Well, if you have no choice,
kind of
right?
wallet do they?
You don't have a
Like,
card.
a zip
In most
purse
cases.
that you zip open and then it's just a wad of like notes.
Bro, there's a zip there to protect you, okay?
Bruh, nah. I think the only people that I see here carry that amount of like notes on them are either Arabs or the Chinese foreign exchange students.
Definitely.
Those are the only
Arabs.
people that I see carry wads of cash in their wallets or like purses.
Yeah,
Ever.
especially in
I don't
London.
see anyone else. Most people use card in London. That's why.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't carried cash on me for like the last 2 years, to be honest. Like
True.
in UK, in London. Yeah. Obviously when I'm traveling, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But
When I'm
yeah,
traveling, I carry
I
cash.
think that's it for this episode, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
That's a wrap from me.
That's
boy.
a wrap. And yeah, we'd like to thank you guys again for listening to our podcast. We've been an Anime Real Talk. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and pretty much any other listening platform that you listen to music or podcasts on. And we're also on YouTube. So if you do end up watching or listening to our podcast on YouTube, please do give it a like, share it with any other anime lovers, and do
Hit that
subscribe.
red subscribe button.
Yes, hit that red subscribe button to keep up with the videos in case you don't listen to any of the podcasts on a streaming platform. And if you do listen to it on Apple Music, do give us a rate. It would help us out a lot. If you do have any type of feedback that you would like to give us, we have an email and it's animerealtalk@gmail.com. You can give us feedback or give us some
Ask
kind
questions.
of ask questions. Yeah, maybe give us a funny news article that you might want to talk us about, or suggest a type of topic that you want us to talk about. That'd be great as well. And do follow us on our Instagram, which is Anime Real Talk Podcast, and our Twitter @Anime Real Talk. That's been all from us today. We'll catch you again next week, same time. Bye.
Peace. Have a good one.
See ya.